wow, the end of the world. In some ways I'd really like to be around to see it, but I don't want it to happen within my lifetime, so I guess I won't. But I'm dead curious to see what happens. I was kind of looking to actually do something, and it was quite hard to figure out what I could actually do about climate change or where I could fit into any kind of campaigning. And then just saw an advert for a meeting for this thing called the Camp for Climate Action, and it was in Manchester, and it's close to where I live, and my friend lived in Manchester, so I thought, oh well, that looks quite interesting, go along to that. And I sort of went into this room full of like 100 people that I'd never met before. I was absolutely terrified. I thought, oh well, I'll stay, I'll see what happens. And it was just really interesting. And what actually got me involved was the way that these people seemed to be working. And I was just really inspired. I just kind of sat there all day watching all this sort of consensus decision-making process and people being respectful of each other and coming to decisions about things in this huge group. The Camp for Climate Action, well, it happened last year, it's happening again this year, and it's basically a week-long camp in a field, and it's sustainable in terms of having a very low carbon footprint. So basically there's not much power and energy used on site, and any that is from solar panels or wind turbine, which is homemade. And then there were a huge amount of workshops, which is the other aspect of the camp, where people were educating themselves and discussing and debating about climate change and about what we can do about it. So sort of positive solutions, everything from like political arguments down to, you know, growing your own food, so the whole sort of spectrum. And the third element was to take direct action against the root causes of climate change, which last year was Drax Power Station, which is the biggest single point emitter of CO2 in the whole country, so kind of a big one to go for. But the whole point of the camp is that you participate. But the whole thing that's inspired me about this thing is that people can just get up and do something without asking permission and without having qualifications or being from a certain class or a certain background. And I think to have those three things, sort of the sustainable living, the workshops and the direct action, all together in one place was a huge challenge. I mean, certainly it gave me energy to go back to where I live and think about what I could do and sort of start off a few little projects that without that initial big inspiration might not have happened, I don't think. The main thing I gained were some really great friends. Sort of I don't know, my family were like, oh, it's great, you've met all these like-minded people. And actually, they weren't that like-minded in lots of ways, which is great. But I just met people who were really into doing things and not talking, but doing, and basically getting off their backsides, and had a lot of energy and time to commit to something they were passionate about. I think one of the causes of climate change is this sort of individualistic lifestyles that we have, and we all get out of our car into our little tin box and drive off and don't have any contact with people, and then we don't think about the impact of what we're doing. And I think if we're made to think about the impact on other people, then we connect with those people. And I just think, yeah, loads of the solutions are going to make people actually happier.